So today's talk is about menopause and me. I'm going to provide a naturopathic perspective. One thing that I really advocate is that the natural healing force is actually within each one of us. And it's how we learn to tap into this healing force to help it shape our well-being. So it's a different perspective altogether. A short disclaimer, naturopathy is about earth medicine, okay? It's about proactive well-being rather than reactive, which is what the medical profession provides. It's always when something goes wrong. Hence, adapting or modifying our diet, activity, lifestyle, our well-being to help us transition through the experience of menopause is what I'm going to be talking about. Holistic means treating the whole person. That's your body, your emotions, your physical well-being, but it's much more than that. And what I'm going to share are some healing concepts, and these are respectful of each and everyone's cultural, personal beliefs and faiths as well. Please, I invite you to keep an open mind and really embrace what resonates with you and to let go of what doesn't. It's only a 20-minute overview, so please don't construe this as medical advice or instructions. Really, for maximum or optimal benefit, you need to seek health professionals' advice or a one-to-one consultation. So let's begin. I'm sure you can all see this blue dot, and I'm going to invite you to look at this blue dot on the screen. So this is dot, okay? This dot represents everything that you've heard, seen, your feelings, your fear, everything that you have quantified over the years or over the months or through these presentations about the menopause. However, it does not define you. And what I'm going to do is help you reframe your perception of menopause. And I'm going to invite you to really look at the space around the dot. Now, menopause is a time of transition, as Olivia has alluded to, and it can also be a time of reflection and immense inspiration. Women actually experience a newfound sense of freedom and anticipate personal growth. And we've all been through transitions, okay? We've transited from our mother's womb into this world. And then we've moved into adolescence. And then we've moved into motherhood. So we've all been through transitions in life. And this is kind of, I like to call it the regal transition. So it's a time of choice. It's a time that we really find out what serves us, what serves our well-being, what serves our peace of mind, what serves our joy. And we arrive at that place where we can now let go of that drama and chaos and the circus that we've had to entertain up till now. So it's the attitude to which we embark upon this transition that I want to invite you to reflect on and have a dialogue with. So the holistic overview I'm going to give is really going to challenge your concepts. At the same time, I'm going to invite you to challenge me. Okay, so a really good book is Einstein's Dream by Alan Lightman. And I'm just going to read an excerpt out of this. He really sets the scene in this particular paragraph, which is about time. And we are also at that time in our lives where we're going through change. So I'm just going to read a few of the sentences. So he says, in this world, there are two times. There's mechanical time, and then there's body time. The first is rigid and metallic, like a massive pendulum that swings back and forth, back and forth. And the second squirms and wriggles like a bluefish in a bay. The first is unyielding and predetermined. The second makes up its mind as it goes along. Now, many are convinced that mechanical time doesn't exist. They keep clocks. They don't keep clocks in their houses. Instead, they listen to their heartbeats. They feel the rhythms of their moods and their desires. Such people eat when they're hungry, arise with the sunrise, attend to work filled with vitality, and they make love all hours of the day and celebrate with a contented spirit. Life moves effortlessly in tune with the natural orders, and everything is accomplished. Now, there's also those people who think their bodies don't exist. They live by mechanical time. They rise at 7 o'clock in the morning, they eat their lunch at noon and their supper at 6. They arrive at their appointments on time, precisely by the clock. They make love between 8 and 9, and they work 40 hours a week, read the Sunday paper, and play chess on Tuesday. When their stomach growls, they look at their watch to see if it's time to eat. They may look at the clock above a stage when lost in a concert to see what time it's for them to go home. They know that the body is not a thing of wild magic, but a collection of chemicals, tissues, and nerve impulses. Now, each one of these times is true, but the truths are not the same. Now, if you have an opportunity to read this book, I do highly recommend it because it really has an intense way of shifting the way we see things. So what I'm going to do is really introduce a different way of viewing menopause through energy anatomy. Then we're going to look at how we can reframe the menopause and a few lifestyle modifications. I'm not really going to spend too much time on that because Dr. Aria has already mentioned them. So, okay, energy anatomy. I'm going to just remind you of who you are. We are actually light emitting radiators, love in, packaged in this physical frame. And we're here to have a human existence. What Hippocrates, the father of medicine and naturopathy, alluded to is the soul is the same in all living creatures, although the body of each is different. May I please ask everyone to please mute themselves just to reduce the background noise. Thank you. So really, we're a part of all things and everything is a part of us. Everything is connected. Therefore, we can tap into the wind. We can become fire by connecting to the passion within our heart. And we can really reconnect with the earth to find that grounding within the embrace of Mother Nature. Okay, our dimensions are more than the physical. We have various layers within our energy system. And this is our emotional energy, our mental energy. We've actually felt this. We felt it when we meet someone and we feel, oh, I really feel comfortable with this person. Or we've entered a place where we're like, this feels like home. Okay, this is our energy system feeding back to us like tentacles. Okay, so how does this work? Wherever we feel a disconnection from our energy body or a displacement, this is how we then see symptoms in our physical body, so a lack of energy, exhaustion, overreacting, confusion, the brain fog, a feeling of unsettledness. But this is really our sensory system conveying these messages and articulating it through our nervous system. And hence, this is where our fight, flight, or freeze response comes in. Just stay with me. Okay, now just articulating or associating the major endocrine systems with our energy body. So just speaking on with the language of the chakra system or the human energy system, each one of our energy system is aligned with our endocrine system. So for example, the root or our reproductive system begins, and our foundation in life begins, to set by the age of 7, usually between 7 and 9. This is where our foundation in life is really essential. I'm not going to go through all of these because it's going to take some time, but the numbers that I've allocated to each one really relates to our age. So by the time we're in our 30s, our heart chakra opens, kind of like approaching our early 30s, but our ability to speak our truth really comes into force by the time we're 35 and 36. And that's when we often see a lot of ourselves leaving jobs, leaving our relationships, because we've come full circle and we actually understand or reconnect with that self that says, you know what, this doesn't serve my peace of mind. This doesn't serve my joy. So this is how the energy system works for us. And really everything is mapped in our muscle memories through this engagement with the world and within ourselves. So we've heard that some of the worst menopausal systems, and I'm sure you all agree with this, are sleeping, forgetfulness, hot flushes, irritability, night sweats. But Hippocrates says that when we provide the right amount of nourishment, whatever that means for you, and exercise or activity, and that's not too little and not too much. So it's that balance between, or something that I call the Zen point between too little and too much, we actually step into our balance, our homeostasis, our equilibrium. And that's when things begin to fall in place for us. So I want you to imagine that menopause is actually a gateway. It's a transition. We experience a different dimension of ourself in its energetic state, but in our material form. And really, it's an opportunity for us again to honor our energy body and really practice the pause, because in our digital age, in this modern lifestyle, everyone is always busy doing, that they never actually just stop to address that pain they're feeling or the fatigue that's slowing them down, because their body is trying to convey a message through this language to say, just sit down, just connect with nature. It's not about doing. Sometimes it's just about sitting down and becoming who really want to be, and listening to that heart talk within us. And I think as we move through these transitions, we are far more experienced now than we were in our adolescence, to be able to really tune into our innate nature, our inner voice. And so really, I'm going to invite you to step into your regal years by really stepping into your power, which I call, our inner wisdom, our intuition, And this is a time where we can wear our crown, because this is where we move from our third eye, our intuition, into this super consciousness, into the wisdom that we've gained through our experience, through our life, and sit in our throne. Why not? So how do we invite this balance? The way that we work as naturopaths, or I certainly work through my experience, is really to re-engage and reconnect with the natural rhythms of nature. Well-being during menopause is actually a choice. And if we look at the world healthy self, it's actually saying to us, heal thyself. Now, it takes a millisecond to change our state of energy, and it takes 20 minutes to change a thought pattern through breathing. Breathing is the only thing that really brings us back to this present moment. It takes 24 hours to process our emotions, and it takes 40 days to transform our physiology from where you want to be right now to where you see yourself. So visualizing your true self, your healthy self, is very empowering at this time. So I'm going to invite you to let go of all of these labels that you've placed on yourself and work with me through nature's rhythms, through the seasons. So some of the things I advocate, and these are all experiential, everything that I share with my clients and my patients is experiential. The first thing is to retreat. It usually takes 2 years for the body to transition. And if we work with the natural seasons, so if we work through the spring of our being, into the summer of our being, and the autumn and the winter, it actually only takes 18 months to 2 years to walk through this transition holistically in a very balanced way. So now's the time to slow down. So the moment we enter that perimenopausal phase, it's about acts of self-kindness. It's about reflecting on ourselves and saying, okay, what are the things that make me me? What elevates my vitality rather than drains it? What feeds my emotions? Give permission for your body to transition. Ask yourself these questions. You know, journaling is a great way to do that. And really give yourself some positive affirmations. Tune into your physical body, but know that you're much more than the physical body, that your energy body is actually conveying messages to you if you just sit down and listen. Give yourself time to be silent. Be kind to yourself, to any ailments that present to you. Now, if you see yourself as a child, if we, look at a baby, we would give all of ourselves as mothers to this child, to raising this child. In the same way, we need to start nourishing our inner child at this point. And be grateful for what makes it possible for you to be you. The second thing is dance. Rediscover your rhythm. And if you look on my channel, you'll see various YouTube kind of videos that I'm creating from 50-minute yoga nidra. It's actually a power nap, but it's about tuning into the ocean waves to give you a bit of a sequence to recalibrate the body. Find your seat of power. This is about grounding. How do we ground? They're very simple techniques based on postural yoga techniques, but they can be done by anyone at any time, at any age of life. You do not need to be flexible to do these techniques. And then there's a very powerful breathing technique that I encourage you to listen to. Tai Chi, this is what Dr. Already touched on, yoga, but the yin yoga. Avoid aggressive exercises. What I often find with women is that they, notice some weight gain and then they start aggressively exercising and fasting. But this is the worst thing we can do for our body, as we step into transition. Focus on strength training and body weight training. Use gravity as the glue to help you address your framework. And it's more about functional movement for me. I certainly don't have time to put on some yoga pants and get onto a mat. So over the years, I've actually developed the yoga techniques into functional movement when we're carrying our shopping, or when we're driving, or when we're seated in our thrones. This is all about active functional movement. And I demonstrate these on the YouTube videos. Nourish. So this is the autumn of our season. Menopause, we actually step into the autumn of our being. And we know that walking is a man's best friend. And really, we're here as women to empower ourselves and each other and walk each other home. And Mother Nature's healing, there's nothing greater than Mother Nature's healing prescriptions. And the more we adapt to a seasonal lifestyle, and our cultural wisdom is something that I really invite women to do when I meet them, is to really engage with conversations with your community, with the elder women in your community, with the wise women of your community, to restore your energy reserves and to serve your well-being. Now, I remember coming into the perimenopause some years ago, and the first thing I did is actually go to my community and speak to the elders. And you know what they said to me? They said, there's nothing to do. Do nothing. Just allow things to be. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm going to share with you. Food energetic. So more than micro and macronutrients, I work with the energetic principles of food, in particular the 5 flavors, because the flavors actually engage with our emotional body, our emotional energy system. So there's a real technique, a real alchemy to playing with food and culinary apothecary in our kitchens, in our homes, which is actually the heart of the home. Now, for me, it's not about separating hormones. It's not about estrogen and progesterone. It's about really moving into the master gland, which is our pineal gland, which is the master gland that serves our hormone system. Okay, it's about reconnecting with our light. So what are the light producing foods we can introduce into our lifestyle? Now, if we go back to this, autumn, if you just step into autumn, you'll notice everything dries up. And so this is what's happening to our body. And almost like a vehicle for those people who drive, if your car had no oil, what would it do? It would start heating up. It would start being very irritable. And how far would it actually get? So in the same respect, introducing whole seasonal food, because Mother Nature is actually providing the medicine for us if we tune in, will serve our energy being. So one thing that I really focus on are the essential fatty acids, because these are the key building bricks for our hormonal system. And one of the key ones is actually vitamin D3, which Olivia's already touched on. Also, all diseases begin in the gut, and we already know that the gut and mind have an intrinsic relationship. And this is communicated through our vagus system, our vagus nervous system, our vagus nerve, and also the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So I don't have time to go into this. I'm keeping it very top line, but everything in the body is connected like a web that really has no weaver, but we've just got to tune into ourselves, and the body will communicate everything it needs. And then it's just about providing the right ingredients holistically and seasonally. So some of the things that I encourage you to avoid is, one hot topic, which is most patients will come to me and say, well, I'm drinking hot water and lemon first thing in the morning to cleanse my system. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the timing of what you do and how you do it. Right now, when we're in the autumn of our season, we do not need to add lemon to our hot water, because if you just tune into lemon, it's an astringent. And what it's going to do, it's going to dry the system and actually cause brittle bones. Now, I remember working in the osteoporosis clinics back in 2013 when I was invited to launch the first licensed vitamin D3. And we did a lot of work with endocrinologists, with experts in the field of vitamin D and bone health, and actually developed the guidelines for vitamin D3. And what I discovered from working in those osteoporosis clinics is a lot of women in their 30s were coming in with brittle bones. And I was just curious, so I would question them. And a lot of them would be having these very astringent meals, or using lemon and apple cider vinegar, but like 365 days in the year. These are not meant to be used every day. It's only meant to be used during the detox seasons, which is spring and autumn. That's it, for a period of 10 to 14 days. That's it. Avoid sugar and salt, processed food, spicy food, caffeine and stimulants. I think we've already talked about that. Do not eat on the go, and do not skip meals, especially breakfast. Focus on things like seasonal whole food. Make it focus on the alkaline aspects of the food, because our bodies are alkaline, and disease actually begins when we create an acidic environment within our body, because that's the environment in which disease breeds. Stick to a macrobiotic diet. Definitely introduce the 5 flavors. And for breakfast, eat like a queen. I always encourage all of my patients and clients to have a queenie breakfast, and then slowly taper down or reduce their lunch and evening meals. And you'll find when you start serving the body clock that everything falls into place, and the body does not gain weight the way that most people struggle with. Eat mindfully. It's about chewing your food. I often say, drink your food and eat your liquids. Have a balanced meal plan. So some things that I advocate are yam, cassava. It's all the root vegetables, because that's what's going to serve our bones. Now, rehydration of the body is essential. And I don't really focus on water alone. It's actually about the oils. It's about souping, and it's about introducing broths into our meal plans, because this is the easiest way, and it costs the body the least energy to digest and assimilate the soups and broths, and actually provide the physical body with the energy it needs. Essential oils to protect our skin health, and Epsom bath salts. And one thing I always encourage women that are going through perimenopause and menopause is really tune into the lunar cycles. Now, supplements, these are just general recommendations to look at hormonal balance and fatigue. A rich source of omega-3, not just omega-3, but include lecithin. Now, lecithin is a fat emulsifier, so it makes the oils that we ingest more available to the body. It breaks down the bad fats, and it really helps the body to tune into and absorb the good fats, which is essential to our nervous system, our brain, to fight the brain fog, to keep this the amazing mechanics within our physical body working. Chasteberry or amla, which is an Indian gooseberry, is fantastic as a hormone balancer. And you can buy these from any high street shops. It's about £1.99. Essential body oil. So tune into mood lifters such as geranium, rose, neroli. Go and have some, experiment with the essential oils. For joint and skin care, I advocate magnesium as an essential mineral, as well as MSM. Now, we found that MSM, there's lots of research behind this. MSM was actually used for racehorses once they had finished their life in racing, and they often ended up with musculoskeletal issues. And we found that MSM actually healed them. So MSM is used for arthritis and joint pain, but really the essential ingredient is not MSM by itself or magnesium by itself. It's actually a holistic program. Herbal infused oil massages are great. Again, this is the Ayurvedic tradition. I'm sure cultural traditions have their own formulas. Epsom bath salts, great way to reduce hot flushes is, soak your feet in a cold Epsom bath salt, foot soak. For night sweats, again, I recommend sage and mint tea, and these are like ordinary garden herbs. Grow your sage, grow your mint. You can have this as a cold tea, and as an iced tea or a warm drink. And licorice has incredible healing properties and is a natural herb, but it's the natural herb licorice. It's a bit like a bark, and you just add it to hot water and can drink that throughout the day. Amla, red clover, dongji. There's so many different Ayurvedic recipes that are based on constitutional energy patterns. So that's why this is a general recommendation. And also check your iron levels, because low iron levels can actually increase heat production in the body, and that can lead to night sweats. So if you're low in iron, obviously check with a blood test first. If you are low in iron, then go for an organic brand such as Bartone or Floridix. Hemiplex is another good one. But really, through bespoke plans, that's when I really look at what works for you as an individual and help you step into the season of your being. Just a very brief look on the body clock and recalibration in kind of like the holistic medicine world and naturopathic medicine. We see the body as a fine arrangement of clockwork. Every organ has an emotion. Every organ has a job to fulfill, almost like a happy family living together. And really to look at balance and equilibrium, where we're serving these systems through the food, through the thoughts, and through our attitudes, which can displace the pH of our physical body. The light, our circadian rhythms, how do we tune into light? Our hydration levels, the water and the oil, and the temperature of food. It's, all of these things play a huge role in addressing our equilibrium at this point in life. And really all parts of the body which have function need to be used in moderation. And this is what really brings us into that equipoise that helps us align the crown that we're now going to step into wearing and sit on our thrones. So just an overview of the lifestyle. Really, I just encourage you all to step into that space and invite the things that serve your peace of mind and nourish your body and soul. Keep an appreciation or a gratitude journal. connect, request support, talk about this within your family, with your friends, with your community, and with your partner. This is a moment of time where we can reinvigorate our relationships. It really is a time for self-care, for self-kindness, and for laughter. And it's also about wearing well-being. You know, it's about coming out and dressing up like a queen. It's also to do with re-engaging with the divinity within each one of us and reconnecting to that wisdom. So really, menopause is that time that encourages us to have conversations with the spirit and really celebrate your crown chakra. So thank you all for listening. I know this is a completely different perspective on menopause. Please do tune in to my website and my YouTube channel. There's a lot going on there that we're putting into place. We're just launching a new platform called The Wellbeing Wizards. These are stories of hope, transformation, and healing that we've gathered over the past 18 months. And we're really trying to create a ripple effect for the audience to engage and find their own healing, to connect to their own healing. The launch date's on the 13th of September.